Monday. Indeed, you're watching Liquid Lunch on Newsmax TV. I'm John Tobacco. For those of you who are loyal viewers, you know that in the last segment of the show every day, Frank is usually here, and he corrects any inaccuracies or mistakes or exaggerations or conspiracy theories that I come up with. He corrects it so we keep the show straight. Today, filling in for him is a platter of meatballs because he had to leave. And earlier in the show, we talked about Mark Cuban saying how bananas are a better currency than cryptocurrency. So when you got to go so low to be talking about bananas and meatballs to fill time, there's only one way to end it. And you got to end it the right way by going right to the top. My real boss, my rabbi at Newsmax, John Bachman, joins us today. And he is also the host of Newsmax Now, which is the flagship news show seen right here every day at 6 p.m. and 9 p.m. So he does it so nice. They do it twice at 6 and 9. And if it wasn't for this man you're about to see, you would have never watched Liquid Lunch because he gave us the chance. And John, thank you for coming on with us today, filling in for Frank in the WTF. And I know you got some great stuff going on tonight on Newsmax Now. What's happening?
Well, we do, but I got to address that intro, John. That's way too kind. You know, it's not really quite that simple, but I appreciate your kind words. There's a lot of people that work very hard, including your crew, to make sure your show gets on the air every day. And we have a lot of great support, so we appreciate all the hard work you guys put in to the program every day. And I know a lot of people think the show might be unconventional, but that's what we love about it. And I'm honored, quite frankly, to be filling in for Frank. And I would never try to second guess you the way that he does. But I will use this time to plug my own show tonight because we have a very big program coming up. Beginning of the show, we're going to talk to former New York City Police Commissioner Bernie Kerik. He's coming in to talk about these rumors. You know, a lot of people have been talking about President Trump, and some sources inside the White House, some of President Trump's closest confidants are trying to sideline Rudy Giuliani. Well, Commissioner Kerik's going to come in and talk about that. Of course, he worked with Rudy hand in hand right after 9/11. He's very loyal to the former mayor of New York, so we'll get Bernie's take on all of this. And we're also going to talk about Hunter Biden, right? He may kind of have surfaced, even though we're getting a statement from his lawyer. He's now leaving this Chinese firm. If it wasn't wrong, John, why is he stepping down? That's the question we're going to ask about Hunter Biden. Also today, we have a big program. Andrew Brunson, the pastor of the evangelical, he was with President Trump this weekend at the Value Voters Summit, saying prayers with President Trump. He's going to join us. He's got a new book out about his 2 years that he spent in captivity in Turkey. So obviously a lot of issues going on with the whole Turkish invasion of Syria. We're going to talk about that. But we're also going to talk about, John, I don't know if you caught this. Did you see the LGBTQ event last week with all the Democrats?
I saw it, and I saw a great spoof on it on Saturday Night Live the other night.
I got to see the spoof. I heard about the spoof. But one of the things we're going to focus on, too, and talk to the pastor about this, something that's rankled a lot of evangelicals, that was Beto O'Rourke saying that churches should not have tax-exempt status. Basically, what he's trying to say is that the federal government should come into your place of worship and tell you what you can and cannot do. That's a big no-no with Christians. We're going to talk to Andrew Brunson about that.
Well,
it's a show in a nutshell, John. We're working on it right now. Looking forward to it.
I'm going to be watching, and I want to hear from a guy who persevered 2 years in a Turkish prison. I can't even imagine what's going on there. But you would think someone like that would be embraced by everyone here in America. But Johnny, I know you covering the news of the day every day on Newsmax Now. Flipping out because I sat next to George Bush. Like, I could be friends with someone that I don't share their political views. I think that's lost on the left these days.
I think it is. I think it's lost on a lot of people, too. I mean, Mark Ruffalo, for one, came out saying, look, Ellen, you have no business sitting next to George Bush until he's hauled before the Hague and tried for war crimes. It's ridiculous. There's a certain percentage of this population, John, they're not happy unless they're outraged, right? That is their default position for everything. They love to be victims. They love to be outraged, and they love to, fight with people. We see this all the time. But I do feel like, John, the majority of the country is not in that position, even though that's the type of behavior that gets highlighted so much. This whole thing with Ellen, though, does really kind of, exemplify what we should be doing in this country. We should be reaching out to people we don't agree with. And I think a lot of people do, right? If you're not involved in politics every day, you have to work with your coworker. You might not talk about politics as much. But that Ellen story is just an example of the fact that that's even a story tells us a lot about our country.
Great stuff, John. Thank you very much for joining me today. I'll be tuned in at 6 and 9 tonight for Newsmax Now. My audience should be tuned in also. JB, thank you so much. I'll see you this week. Tomorrow, same bad time. I can't have a
cocktail until after my show, so at 10:01, John, I'll tip a glass to you.
We're in. Okay, I'll see you this week. Tomorrow, same bad time, same bad channel, Liquid Lunch.